Hey everyone, and welcome to the SMP Media Center. This video is a part of a series of videos that teach you guys the basics of filming, recording, or editing. In this video, I'll be teaching you guys the basics of audio recording, from setting up your audio equipment to how you record it so that you get the best audio possible. So, why is good audio important? Well, to put it shortly, your video that you spent so much time and energy into perfecting is worthless if it's not complemented with good audio. You could spend a ton of time framing the perfect shots or spend a fortune on cinematography, but everybody's gonna lose interest if there's barely any audio or if you can't hear anything. So today I'll be teaching you guys how you get good audio for your video projects. Well, obviously, I'm not a professional at this, but I'll teach you guys all that I know so that you spend less time researching on how to get good audio and more time on actually filming and recording. So to begin with, I'll be talking to you guys about the different types of microphones we have and how you can use them for your projects. So I'll be starting off with this mic. This is what's called a condenser microphone. And you'd normally use something like this if you know that your subject will be close to the camera and if you don't have to move around a lot. These microphones are directional, so you get the best audio if you're facing directly towards a certain area. And for this case, it's obviously this side, and I've marked it with an arrow here. If I'm behind the microphone here, you wouldn't really be hearing the audio that well, but now if I move close to the microphone, it's much better. So microphones like these are perfect for podcasts because subjects are generally very close to the microphone and you don't really have to move around that much. For something like movies, these microphones would be very difficult to carry around, especially since it comes with this audio interface that you need to plug it into, basically. So how do you use this with a condenser mic? It may seem very complicated, but it's honestly very easy. You have the power input as well as the audio output that connects to your computer. And then this is the microphone input that goes into the front here. And then apart from that, there are just two knobs that you're mainly concerned with. This one is called the gain, which is basically the sensitivity of the mic. If I decrease this like this, you won't be able to hear much of it. And if I increase it like this, it's probably very bad. So let me just... And then the next knob here is the volume control, which is only if you connect a headset or something, so if you want to monitor your audio. So next I'll be talking about these two guys. These are transmitters and receivers for lavalier mics, which are these tiny clip-on mics that go here. Mics like these are also very difficult to conceal if you want to hide them for any reason. If you put them under your shirt or something, it may brush up against the shirt and then produce a lot of noise. Mics like these are perfect for something like an interview where you just clip them onto your subject and start recording and basically forget about them. These have very good audio since it's very close to the subject, they cancel out most of the noise, and you don't need somebody carrying around a boom mic following around your person. It may also be useful for something like a podcast where you have a bunch of people around the table, and in a case where mics like these may not be useful. So using a mic like this is also very simple. You basically have two of these. One of them is a receiver and one of them is a transmitter. So you take the mic part and then you stick it to the transmitter in the audio input, and then you take the receiver and take the output from that and just plug it into whatever you're recording it in. Maybe your camera or computer or a separate recorder. And that's basically it. So next up we have this microphone, which is a boom mic. So boom mics are also condenser microphones like this one. So they have a very wide vocal range and can pick up really good audio. So a boom mic would be perfect for something like a movie where you have a bunch of people in a room and you're using a microphone to pick up audio from all the different subjects. It's very mobile in that sense, since you can move them around depending on who's talking and who's where. But you would also need a boom operator who has this microphone on a boom pole and basically follows around whoever is talking. So how do you set up something like a boom mic? It's very similar to how we did with the condenser mic. You just take the input from the boom mic and plug it into the audio interface. As you can see, I'm currently recording with the boom mic and my voice is very clear and crisp, and it picks up all the different frequencies in my voice. So these are the different types of microphones we have in our media center, and with the basic information you got, you should be able to use them in any of your projects. And now to end the video, I'm going to give you guys some basic general tips when it comes to getting good sounding audio so that you don't have to stress out later. So the first tip to remember is that you want to extract the best raw audio from your subject while recording. So how would you do that? Well, first you'd want to make sure that the person is very close to the microphone and as close as possible. So that would mean using different types of mics for different settings or different scenes. So next thing to keep in mind is something called audio clipping. Similar to how one could overexpose photos, you don't want to overwhelm your microphone with too loud audio in such a way that they can't record it at all. Generally, whatever audio device you're recording with has something called an audio level indicator, which basically shows how loud or soft your audio is. Generally, you'd want the little green thing that moves to hover around the -12 decibel mark while you're talking. Anything above that towards 0 and your sound is too loud and you run the risk of clipping the audio. And anything too low is obviously too low to be able to hear. So another thing to keep in mind is that if possible, you would always want to monitor your audio while it's being recorded. So different microphones have inputs for headphones. That way you can listen to the audio just as it's being recorded. So you would want to do this so that you know exactly what the audio sounds like and you wouldn't have to schedule a reshoot because you find out later that the audio is unusable and there's some noise in the background that could have been avoided in the spot. Lastly, if you're filming outside and you live in Bremen where it tends to get really windy, you would want to use something like this. This is called a dead cat and it basically goes over your microphone. And as morbid as the name sounds, what this does is removes the interference between the microphone and the wind. So you don't get the very loud and annoying whistling sound while you record audio. So these are all the basic tips that you need to keep in mind to get the best possible audio for your video projects. I hope you learned something of substance in this video, and if not, don't be afraid to reach out to us and we'll be happy to help with any questions you have regarding filming, recording, or editing. Bye bye.